A huge round of applause for Dr. Gamze Dane.
Welcome. I couldn't wait for it.
No, you couldn't wait.
No.
I love that you're so happy to come and join us. Experiencing the city for you has a lot to do with public spaces, right?
Indeed. I can start. Experiencing the city. So I would like to start about the city itself. So what is the city but the people, as Shakespeare put it?
What is the city but the people?
Yeah.
You're quoting Shakespeare right at the
right
beginning.
now.
Good. I like that. Yeah.
Cities are fundamentally about people. And it's about where people go, where people meet, where people do other activities. And public spaces are the facilitator of this. So between the buildings and artifacts, the public spaces such as streets, plazas, parks, are the places actually that take us from A to B, that take us, allows us to do recreation, leisure activities, and so on. And therefore they are important for the functioning of the city. And it's also important that they are positively experienced by people.
So how does that relate then? How does the public space sort of relate to well-being in that sense?
The well-being, so we are in a time that with the increased urbanization, and that is not going to stop. Our urban environments are even more urbanized.
So more and more stones and buildings.
Yeah,
and
there will be more stones buildings, and take the city of Eindhoven, the inner city will densify more, and that puts pressure on the public spaces. That allows us to actually do most of our activities that contributes to our mental well-being, social well-being, and also physical well-being. So in that sense there is a relation, and we started to look into that empirically with this project that was funded by the Rijksoverheid under the Antwerpen Overheid project scheme. And we looked at the influence of urban design on people's experiences and their subjective well-being. We started with this project.
And that was done in Eindhoven, right?
Yeah,
right here.
Right here. We collaborated with the city of Eindhoven, and they were quite helpful. And we also collaborated with the citizens, of course. And we provided them a mobile application. And we told them over the course of 2 weeks to indicate their experiences in the city, whether positive or negative. So we have some insights then about the experiences and where they occur.
But tell me, because you're using data and data analysis to analyze something that's rather subjective, well-being. So how does that work? How does that come together?
Yeah, we try to quantify this subjectivity, so we ask questions related to that, and we asked whether they were satisfied with the built environment that they were in, that evoked some emotions and experiences for them.
But then you try to quantify the feelings.
The feelings, yeah.
So how do you do that? Can they only say yes or no, or how does that work?
They can say what type of feeling they had and what triggered that feeling. So what we have found also, that if people are satisfied with the public space, characteristics such as the quality of the aesthetics, air quality, the accessibility of the public space, that contributed to their momentary well-being, so to say, that contributed to their happiness at the moment, the feeling of safety, feeling of comfort. And what we also found that was interesting, that this momentary feeling contributed to their long-term subjective well-being. In a way that they were more satisfied with their life if they experience more positive feelings in public spaces. And another finding we found that was interesting was that elderly and people with health problems, they experience less positive the public spaces of Eindhoven. That might also indicate some problems with some of the public spaces may not be inclusive.
Accessibility and those kinds of issues.
Yes, indeed. This was data from 2 weeks, so that was not enough for us. We invited respondents for focus groups and interviews. We talk to them, what were their experiences, what triggered them, etc. And what we can conclude is that one thing is that people want to voice themselves, and the other is that design is not about how something looks, but how people feel about it. So it's about individual experiences.
Although how something looks can also influence how you feel about it, I'm
sure.
Yeah,
indeed.
Nice?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, so I think you are looking into the feelings more. Would you then say that if you were to include people from the start maybe already into designing the public space, that they would feel maybe better about it because they're both more involved, but also feel ownership about it?
Indeed. So, we also worked on that we wanted to involve people in the design process, so about the future scenarios. And we worked together with Den Bosch and City of Eindhoven. This was the public space typology, was on the urban park. We used the virtual reality technology to involve people, because that allows to create a hypothetical urban park with varying alternative scenarios. And in the urban park, we varied several attributes, such as the amount and density of the trees, the location of the pathways, the diversity of flowers, the existence of facilities such as playground.
And this is fake, right?
This is fake,
This is an idea that you might. Okay.
So we made it with very generic urban park that we looked at all urban parks in Den Bosch and Eindhoven. We made an average one. So we varied alternative scenarios, and this is one of the alternative scenarios. And we posed these scenarios to people, to respondents, and we asked them to choose between those scenarios. Then we could calculate their experiences. So this is one of the examples of future scenario. And then with that, with this statistical analysis and so on, we could define design guidelines for cities.
But sorry to sort of go on about this specific subject, but if you ask me how I feel in this virtual reality world or in the real world, and I tell you about it, I say this makes me feel safe, or this makes me feel positive or happy. How do you quantify those kinds of answers? Because both it's very subjective for me, but also my words may be very different to sort of describe my experience than yours.
Yeah, indeed. Maybe it's quite generic, indeed. So, in that study, we try to quantify it with questions. So we ask people, how do you feel about it, and which attributes contribute to that. And then we could make the design guidelines. But in the future, as a next step, we are going to involve people in the design process. So we will design for people, with the people, by using these virtual environments where they can actually locate the objects and where they want.
Put a tree there, and maybe one more, and maybe one more.
Indeed. So I can go already there. Maybe this is our next step, actually. So this is a project that is recently funded by Eindhoven, Wageningen, and Utrecht Alliance. So it's called Designing Healthy Public Spaces via Immersive Virtual Environments. So our aim is to develop a design tool in an immersive way that is also collaborative, that people, not only citizens, but also developers and the designers can use this all together and design together.
So then the idea is that all partners in a project come together, whether you're the designer, the developer, the person who's going to use it or live there, and create spaces together.
Indeed.
So how has that followed from your research into well-being? Why is this the next step?
In our studies, we found the relation between people's experiences, how they feel, and that is linked to their long-term subjective well-being. And as I said, the public spaces are the places where we do many of our activities apart from work and home activities. Most of our time goes in the open public spaces. And these type of activities, if we make healthy choices, and then if also the built environment allows us to do those healthy activities, then that would be a success, especially in a densifying area. So we thought this tool can make it happen and can actually consider everyone's opinion in it.
So is this going to be used?
Hopefully.
But are there some projects already happening?
We are, in this project, we are working with the Urban Development Initiative from Eindhoven. Okay. And we also involve Eindhoven XL. That is the citizen initiative from the city. We also involve other companies that are involved in the redevelopment of the station area. So we are thinking
the station area.
We are thinking of using it as a case, the station area for this project.
Anyone here who would like to be involved in this? Because I think the train station sort of involves all of us, I'd say.
We have a workshop on 21 November.
There you go.
Yeah. If you would like to join, just let me know.
I see some nodding, so there might be some... I think it's very interesting to be able to involve everyone. Yeah, thank you so much. It would be nice also to get some questions from the audience. You know the drill, I'd say. Wave at me, walk up to your moment of fame microphone moment, introduce yourself and ask away, I'd say. Yeah, go right ahead. Thanks for waving, that really helps. Hiya.
It especially helps if you are in the corner.
Yes.
My name is Geert Rovers. I'm a professor of applied science at Saxion University with a special focus on subsurface issues.
Subsurface
issues.
I'm not sure if I know what that means.
De ondergrond, alles wat met de ondergrond te maken heeft. Underground.
Underground is what you mean.
Yeah,
I like
soil, underground.
Soil. Okay.
And in generally, I would like to address two issues concerning public spaces. And if you have public spaces, you have private spaces.
Okay.
And I think that the boundary between them is, well, not very sharp. Well, I don't go into that, not very sharp. And you have the underground space. So in generally, I'm interested in what does the underground do for the perception. And I'm asking this because the underground is more and more important to solve public issues like climate change, energy transition. It all goes underground for a lot of part. So, and it's not visible, it's not tangible, but can it be experienced? And what does the experience of the underground or the soil help to improve maybe living in public spaces or experiencing public spaces? Yeah. So my question would be, is that an issue in your research?
Yeah, thank you for your question. Indeed, actually the underground was never an issue in my research, but it's actually an interesting question because also we don't know to what extent underground is public or private. Yeah, that's one of the issues. But also during our daily life, we don't really encounter the underground. So I think the first is that how we will make people aware of the underground, that it's a public space. I would start with that, I think.
Are you looking into this, how it affects public
space? It's one of the issues we're doing, yeah.
Okay, so
then
maybe
we could...
you see, I'm a bit of a date. Maybe it's what I do. I sort of, so, you know, watch out for me. Thank you so much for your question. That was really interesting. Got time for a short... are you waving at me? No, you're just flicking your hair. I like that. Okay. Now it is turning into a date show today. Good. Sorry. Moving on. Anyways, I've got time for a quick question. Not a very long one, but a short one.
There's one. A finger.
Go right ahead. Yeah, thank you. It's a finger. I like it.
Try to keep it short. My name is Paul Rutten from Rotterdam University of Applied Sciences. That's the long part. I was wondering, part of the experiences of spaces are also other people present. And we know that people behave in certain ways and get stimulated, for instance, because they're connected. Did you consider, for instance, to take connection or disconnection as an element in the design? Because I can imagine that people would love to be in a park without people working on laptops and being on their mobiles, etc. Mm-hmm. So part of the invisible part of designing public space.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you. For these studies, we did not look into the effect of other people. what we were interested was actually the built environment characteristics elements and their influence on people's experiences. But one of my colleagues is continuing with that research, and she's actually involving the crowd also in the virtual environment. Maybe I can make the matchmaking with her. And then we also look at, together with the built environment characteristics and the effect of crowd into people's perception.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What another match made.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Dr. Gamze, Dane.
Thank you.
Huge round of applause. Thank you.